Question 7, what is going on within the Republican Party? It seems that they're fighting and are more adversarial than not. How will you address that? Well, like every political party has issues, but the Republican Party in Oregon has had a 40-year track record of failure. And there's a lot of people who, in that track record of failure benefit. And because, and here is the traditional 40-year game plan. Ready? We have a primary. We pick someone who we think is electable, and as a conservative, and then we tell them to become a moderate in the general election. We just saw that with Newt Buehler. We saw that before with Bud Pierce. And the reality of it is that when you end up being a moderate, you end up not getting the crossover vote, because see, Republicans, the traditional Republican Party doesn't understand that progressive people, that it is a loyalty ideology in which people will be loyal without reason. And so moving to be a moderate does not cause progressive liberal Democrats to come over and vote for a Republican. It never has, and it never will. And we can learn from other states that don't do that. The best way to move the dial in Oregon is to do two things. One is we need to elect a grassroots candidate, and I'll be very clear as to why. I've talked to thousands, and actually probably tens of thousands of Republicans all over this state. And it is my conclusion, based on all those conversations, that the patriot side of our party, the ones who are concerned most about liberty and election integrity, the ones who are concerned about indoctrination in our schools, the ones who are fearful of an overreaching and intrusive government that wants to surveil them and tell them how to manage their personal and private lives, and tell them that their children belong to the community. Those folks are concerned, and I think they are less likely to vote for a rhino. I think they would be more likely to vote for the independent candidate in this three-way governor race coming up. So what I did is I went on the campaign trail and I told the truth. I said, in terms of picking a candidate, we need to pick a grassroots candidate, which I am one. And then we need to pick one that's going to stay and remain a strong conservative in the general election. I am so strong as a conservative, I am going to talk about election integrity in the general election. And I'm going to force the independent candidate and the progressive candidate, the Democrat, maybe that's Tina Kotek or Tobias Reed, I'm going to force them to answer the questions about election integrity. And then I'm going to ask them why they hate half the state, because what they'll do is they'll say there wasn't any election integrity issues. And the evidence is overwhelming that there's some legitimacy to the concern. So again, that's the dynamic in our party. And the good news is that the grassroots side of our party, the patriot side of our party, far outnumbers the old guard, AKA kind of the more rhino side, because the Republican in name only. And rhinos will not move the dial in this state. I'm going to say it again. An establishment candidate will not move the dial. Any candidate that says, I'm going to be able to reach across the aisle and work with these progressives and forge common solutions is stuck in an ideology that has failed us for 40 years. Here's how this works. We elect a clear-minded conservative with a track record of being a fighter, someone who can handle a tremendous amount of scrutiny and stay totally focused and calm, recognizing that the fruits of the policies and positions that the leader takes will win the day, especially in the long run, as thousands and millions of citizens start to benefit from those policies. So I believe I am the only one who can meet both sides of our party and bring the party together. I believe that I will be a unifying force in the party, and especially in the general. And here's what's so cool and so awesome about this is there will be Democrats who will want to come across the aisle and work with me. I've already known many of them. That's great. And I will tell them exactly how far we as conservatives are willing to go. And if they can get there, we can break bread and do some policy. But what we're not going to do is sell our soul like Christine Drazan did, in which she allowed our gun rights to be violated and a whole bunch of really bad radical bills to go through in exchange for a promise that we Republicans would have equal representation on the redistricting committee. And what happened? As soon as all the bills were passed and the session was over, Tina Kotek did what progressives do. They don't tell the truth. They lie. She disbanded the committee. And we got nothing but lost rights. That will not happen when I am your governor.